Hello, friends. This is Mindful Scholar Talks and our first session with you. Mindful Scholar Talks is dedicated to fostering a community of understanding and support for graduate students, navigating the unique challenges of academic life. And in this interview, we are with Dr. Srijan Acharya, and I'd like to give a brief introduction about him. Dr. Srijan Acharya is a notable figure in the field of molecular pharmacology and oncology, and we are really fortunate to have him with us. He is not just a notable figure in the field, but he's also a dear friend to me. He pursued a master's degree in biotechnology at North-South University in Dhaka, followed by the attainment of a PhD in pharmacy from Chonnam National University in South Korea. Having built a strong foundation in academia, he transitioned into an illustrious career as a postdoctoral research fellow at Wheaton College of Medicine at the University of South Alabama, where he has made remarkable contributions that could improve the management of prostate cancer. Recently, Dr. Srijan has joined St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital as a senior postdoctoral researcher. And notably, Dr. Srijan has received several awards, including Young Scientist Awards and Best Presenter and Young Investigator Award in different time periods. And also, in addition to his impressive body of work and awards, he has been honored by Marcus Who's Who, an organization renowned for recognizing outstanding individuals across various domains, and elected as a full member by Sigma Xi, the prestigious scientific research society dedicated to honoring excellence. His inclusion in Marcus Who's and Who is a testament to his exceptional accomplishments and influence in the field, and the honor bestowed upon him by Sigma Xi reflects his outstanding contribution to the world of molecular oncology. And in this session, we are here to listen to his personal experience as a graduate student. He is going to share his journey, challenges, and the strategies he has developed during his study to take care of his well-being. All right, here we are. Hello, friends. I'm quite excited because this is a quite special moment for me. I've been dreaming of this, creating a place where we can talk about graduate students' mental health. And this is the moment. Here we are to make it happen. And today I'm joined in conversation with my good friend, Dr. Srijan Acharya. And hello, Srijan. Welcome. And it's so great to have you,
Hey, thank you so much. And you know that I am also really excited. Not only because we are going to talk about the mental health of a graduate student, we know how much important it is. We know these things, and I'm especially excited because I'm going to do it with you.
Oh.
So let's start it.
Yeah. So I'd like to start with you first before we dig into topic. Can you just mention what you are doing right now, like a little bit brief, introduction about yourself and your education? Yeah.
Okay. So, hi viewers. My name is Srijan Acharya. I did PhD from South Korea, and obviously that's how I know this beautiful lady here. And after my PhD topic was pharmacology. I work on the receptor signaling there. And after completing my PhD from South Korea, I moved into USA. Right now I am on my second postdoc. So my first postdoc is in the Michel Cancer Institute, which is in the Mobile, Alabama. So I work there with prostate cancer. And right now, this is very new postdoc position for me. So right now I am in the St. Jude Children's Hospital, which is in the Memphis, Tennessee. and here I am working as a like again postdoc, but this is kind of senior postdoc. And yeah, I'm very excited about my new position.
Well, congratulations, Srijan. I know the remember that you graduated from PhD in Korea,
Yes.
and we were there together. I was graduating from my master's degree at that time, but
Yes.
now I see where you're at, and I know that you are really working on amazing topics and promising for prostate cancer therapy. Also, it's not just we can see on the news as well. So that's why I'm really proud of you as a friend, not just you know kind of academic friend.
I understand.
So I'd like to dive into topic a little bit. I know that you got your degree in Korea, your PhD degree, and I'd like to a little bit know what was your expectation when you start your degree and how these expectations evolve in time, and how it was for you to be a PhD student in Korea.
Okay. Uh, like I'm from Bangladesh, so like I complete my master's degree from bachelor's and master's from Bangladesh, and the first thing I experienced in Korea, that was cultural shock. That was the first thing. Uh, it's totally different work culture in Bangladesh and in Korea, and the way Korean work, or like right now I know that every Southeast Asian country work like China, Japan, the way they treat PhD or master's student, it's like quite shock for me. And even right now, if I like talk with any of my like US PhD student, they cannot believe it, like how we work in Korea. They simply cannot imagine it, that we start our day at like 8 or 9 a.m. and it finish when we don't know. Okay. Like, but seriously, like maximum Korean student, graduate student, they're like they finish at maybe 9, 10 p.m. Okay, 9, 10 p.m. And for me, it's very natural that it's finished at 12, 1 a.m. I think you also know those things that you
Yeah.
several times you saw in the lab, that working in the late. So yeah, I think like that was the like first cultural shock. But like uh, what was my expectation about the PhD, like doing some great research work? I think in that point of view, my expectation even cross it, because how much I do work in PhD, I never expect that I gonna do that much work and I gonna publish that many paper from PhD. In that point of view, is beneficial for my career. It boost up my career, but it comes a very expensive price.
I can imagine. It's always pros and cons, right?
Yes.
Where it comes with one side. But so what you are describing is more like working hours was different than your own country or your own culture, right? How did
Even from the US, I guess.
yeah, how did this affect you when you look at this? Were you able to describe this was a little bit tiring, or how was
Yeah,
it for you?
just look at my head.
No, you are still handsome. I still have here.
So I mean, seriously, like I'm giving this example. Even my like when I train my student here, I give that example, that how much stress my PhD was. Like actually, I lose my all hair. If you saw my like master's pictures, and like after PhD, like 1 or 2 years, I just admitted in my PhD, I lose my all hair, and this is just because of the stress. Like I don't know like about all other students, but I'm going through a lot of mental stress. It's not only about PhD stress, it's about like economic stress, because uh, right now I think Korea give much more money, but during our times they didn't pay us that much money that we could survive little bit well. So it was economic pressure, it was cultural pressure, it was PhD pressure, work pressure.
Yeah.
So that's how I describe my PhD.
Yeah, finance also makes a lot of difference.
Yes.
I can imagine. I remember the time that buying a cappuccino was like luxury for me.
Exactly.
It's just for $5 or like maybe less
Yes.
than this. I like, wow. I was like thinking about it again and again. Should I go for that or no? Like,
I think once a week I can buy a coffee from outside. Like
yeah,
$5, it's I cannot afford it.
yeah. I know. I feel you. And I also want to check. You mentioned so far the culture shock in terms of working life.
Mhm.
Also the financial station. Were there any other challenging that you faced personally, or maybe feeling isolated, or any other things that you experienced you would like to share if you have? If you don't, we are
I
all like
mean,
good to go.
no, like I think I because this discussion is for the general people and like maybe who is interested about doing PhD. So for them, I want to mention that
Mhm,
if that person is not from the Southeast Asia, then food will be another challenging part.
mhm,
Because like all of the world, I think their cooking style is a lot of different, and for lab student it's almost impossible
mhm,
to get time for cooking, as you know that. Like if you stay all the time in the lab, there is not that much time on not that much energy left when you go to home and you cook. So pretty much you depend on outside food. And I guess in initial days, adjusting with Korean food is really difficult. And the
mhm,
most important thing, the Korean language.
mhm.
So if you don't know the Korean language, welcome to Korea. Uh, uh,
do,
I
do you remember any Korean word?
obviously I remember Korean word.
Yes.
I just visit Korea a few months back. Come on, Arba.
All right.
So
Um, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, just like I want to share like one my personal experience that uh,
Mhm,
like I mean in my first year I think I got sick. And like like I didn't find anyone to go with me in the hospital as a
mhm,
translator. So I thought, okay, I could survive because this is my first time in the Korea. I thought, okay, in the hospital, maybe they know English. And I went there, and
mhm,
nobody understand a single thing.
mhm,
So I have to come back without any treatment.
mhm.
So that's
Yeah,
one of the feelings. I
yeah.
mean,
Thank you for sharing that. That's quite important because it's the basic thing, health. And
yes.
we need to take care of it, our health, our food. These are the basic needs. But as
Mhm.
the students, it was quite challenging. And
Yes.
yeah, it is tough. Even though there might be some positive sides, maybe pushing you to learn a new language or the new culture, or
Mhm.
maybe this different working environment might help you to create more work,
Yes.
outcomes. But sometimes it's hard when we lose the basic things and the carry on the life.
Yes.
But I wonder, how did you overcome with those challenges? Um, what was your strategy for that? What was strategy for you to keep the remaining hairs in your head?
I think uh, the first and most important thing is that we all know time heals everything. Okay,
Mhm,
so with time everything's become easy, and you learn how to survive. But this is with time. So you and I think this is true in every place. Like if you are out of your comfort zone, you need to know how to survive out of your comfort zone and how to fight in that zone, because this is not your comfort zone. So this is the first things I learned there. And how to survive uh, without language, without any food, and without any
mhm,
supports, how to survive there. And I'm like seriously, I think like I am extremely lucky that I got my friend circle there, which we call Monopoly. Okay. So I think this friend circle helps me a lot to survive there, because not that like they are staying with me every time.
Mhm.
It's like after the day when we talk with each other, and we found that okay, there is another group of person who go exactly the same things, and they survive. And this gives us courage. This gives us motivation. Okay, then
Mhm.
this is like I'm not the only one person who facing those things. There is so many other person who is facing those things, and
Mhm.
okay, let's survive together. And that's how my head is there.
So what I hear is more like a common humanity, that we are not alone. We are not suffering alone, mostly
Yes.
importantly. So acknowledging that really helps, actually. Like knowing that we are not alone in times of suffering gives us courage, as you described earlier. And so friends group were one of the main support in your life during this PhD time, right? So was there anything else that you were trying to help yourself by yourself? Like, I don't know, nowadays, mindfulness, meditation are hit topics.
Yes.
Really, I wonder if you carry some kind of, regular practice or exercise, anything.
I mean, as a term of exercise or meditation, like I really love to do those things, but
Mhm,
actually I don't know how to do meditation or like do
mhm,
those things. So I do a lot of volunteer activities,
mhm,
and I think this is very important for like if
mhm,
they're like for the listeners. Uh, Volunteer activities try to do the networking. This
mhm,
is very important. Like I love to play sports. I love to participate in different kind of sports. So I try to network with different kind of community people
mhm,
here, and I found like Indian group, Pakistani group, Sri Lankan group. They play cricket, football there, and I participate there, and that helps me a lot to refresh my mind. Like
mhm,
in the Friday night, we always go for the playing football. In the like Saturday morning, we always go for playing cricket, and that helps me a lot. So I think like
mhm,
if anybody try to change their minds, do meditation, do yoga,
mhm,
do some exercise, even just walking, like in the afternoon or evening, like 30 minutes walk,
mhm,
like make your mind fresh,
mhm.
and that's really helps to cope up with those kind of difficult situation.
Definitely, I agree what you're saying. And in terms of like in times of difficulty, usually people are tend to be isolated more.
Mhm.
But I think you fight for the opposite. Try to
Yes.
be involved in a community, join some kind of group, volunteer activities that
Mhm.
helps you to um, keep your mind in balance, I could say. And
Yes.
that's what I can what I heard from you. Can you a little bit also describe the volunteer activities part? What kind of volunteering was that, and how did this really affect your life? Is it more like joining in a crowded group, being with people, or was there some sort of um, emotion or satisfaction that helped you to, move your own life?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So like as I don't know, as you remember, like there is two group called UCC and GIC.
Mhm,
So like UCC is the Universal Cultural Center, and GIC is the Guangzhou International Center. So I work with these two organizations. So
mhm,
uh, those both of organization is the cultural organization. I don't know any song or any dance, anything. So, but these two organizations arrange a lot of program. So, and they need a lot of volunteer support to arrange those event. So I go like I tag with those team, and I help to arrange different kind of cultural event there. And by this excuse me, by this arranging cultural event, I came to know a lot of people.
mhm,
There was like some performer, some organizer, some university professor who is the sponsor of those event. I come to know a lot of people, and yeah, those are my voluntary work there.
I got it. So we have life separated into like kind of categories, I could say, maybe like work life and like social life. So you were
Mhm.
actually able to carry on the another part of your life, not just work life. So
Yes,
yeah, that's what I heard, and that's really important, really. And
that's
I'd like,
really.
yeah, go ahead.
No. I mean, I'm just agreeing with you.
Agreeing, agreeing each other. Yeah. So I also want to check one thing with you, Srijan.
Mhm.
Um, what you talk so far is about how you take care of yourself, and this is your way is more like outside of the work. And I wonder, when you are at work, were you able to get some help from your supervisor or like from your colleagues, I could say? So was there any effect on you that helps you to carry your work successfully, or I'm wondering how you feel about this,
I
as
mean,
much as you want to share.
no, yeah. Obviously, I mean, I think, uh, like when you just enter any job place, this is not
Mhm,
only lab, any job place, you are new to that work environment, and you need some help to grow in that environment and establish in that environment. So obviously, like in South Korea or in US, my first postdoc, right now in my second postdoc, I always get help from my colleagues, and obviously bosses, like bosses give you the vague terms or like give you project idea and those kind of thing.
mhm,
But I try to become friend with my each and every colleague, and try to communicate with them, and I don't bother to learn from a junior or senior. I try to learn as much as possible from each and every person, and I
mhm,
also never ever bother to share my knowledge or experience with them.
mhm,
So that's how I grow in my lab or any
mhm.
workplace.
So you were quite positive, carrying not just work, also friendship. That's really
I
a
mean,
good
work
work
friendship.
friendship. Yeah.
Obviously, colleague will be not your friend like your best
Mhm.
friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, so colleague will be colleague. So you should maintain the professional relationship in the
Mhm,
workplace. You should not be like your friend in the workplace.
mhm. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And I'd like to ask this question. Can you share any specific moment of self-discovery or some kind of insight you had during all these years? Like, yeah, this is really, really important, just something that, something kind of like a brief summary, I could say.
Okay, okay.
Would you like to share?
Sure. Like I think that's the most important. That's going to be most important part of our conversation. That uh, I think, like all of my experience, all of my work, all of how much life I already spent. From all of those things, I learn. If I learn only one thing, that's the thing. It's that should be your ultimate most important thing in your life. That should be your first priority in your life. That try to live stress free.
Mhm,
Okay, whatever things going to be happening in life, or whatever is happening in your life, if you are in stress, you will make the things worst. You never ever could solve the problem with stress. So I don't know how it gonna be work with you. Every person have their own method to overcome stress, but try to overcome stress as much as possible. That's the thing I learned from my life, and the moment I learn how to cope up my stress, from that moment I start succeeding in my life.
mhm,
And from like it's I mean, I know many people can say how if something's not going to happen, like stress is very common thing. But if you cannot cope up with the stress, just think any of your life bad event. When you are in stress, you make the situation worst. The moment you like face up, okay, I have to overcome the situation. The moment you overcome your stress, the moment you overcome your situation. So I think that will be the best thing to know in your life, that how you overcome your own stress.
Yeah, like finding your way of
Mhm.
coping,
Exactly.
with stress. That's really important, because when it comes to stress and when it comes to coping mechanism, you can't just say one thing. Every
Mm.
person is unique and they
Every
have
person
like
is unique.
different
Yeah,
ways. Yeah,
exactly.
definitely. It's something, it needs a little bit of self experiment.
Mm.
What's working for me, you know?
And another thing I want to add here, to like to you just like what you just say, like every person is unique. So that's why every person have to know yourself the first. If you know yourself, if you start love yourself, then only you understand that how you overcome your own problem.
Yeah,
So that's the most important thing. Love yourself, know yourself.
yeah, yeah. That's very true. Love yourself.
Yes.
I love your friends. Yeah, thank you, Seijan. These are really like insightful sharing. I really value each of the things you say. And also, finally, I'd like to mention one part. Um, when it comes to create awareness in this topic, um,
Mhm.
I wonder what we can do, or what kind of expectation we can have from supervisors or from institutes, and in a way that we can work with this, because there is something happening in graduate studies. People
Mhm.
are struggling, going to depression, anxiety. Sometimes this may get worse. Sometimes people can handle this, but you don't know. And what kind of expectation we can have, and do you have opinion about this, how we can work with this?
Okay. Uh, I think that's the most common question comes to
Mhm.
every student or every graduate student's mind. These things, and like I handle the PhD student, graduate student, master student, like each and every day, each and every day. Like I trained so many students, I teach them, and not only about the lab experiment, about the like live expectation, or the how you're gonna cope up your this graduate situation. So what I find out that thing, like like we all hate our boss. Like
Mhm.
whoever is your boss, you're gonna hate the boss. Okay, that doesn't matter who is the boss. Sometimes bosses do those things which is hateful. I agree. I completely agree with these things. But you will never find a boss like you will be 100% satisfied. Okay,
Mhm.
boss is there only for that purpose, that you're gonna hate your boss. So so thing is that uh, first of all thing, don't let yourself down. Okay, in that moment, try to cope up, fight with the situation. So in like I want to say these things for the graduate student, that when you start in any lab, please try to give minimum 1 year in that lab. Okay,
Mhm.
because first 1 year you will don't understand anything. You will don't understand your PI. You don't understand your lab mate, what's going on in these things. So you will feel like these things. You will urge like these things. Okay, maybe this lab is bad. Okay, this course is bad. My friend is in that course. I'm just keep hearing those things from him or from her, that that's a good course. That's a good PI. Okay, I should start work with that PI or that lab. Do those things after 1 years. Minimum give 1 years in that lab, because you never know that these things, that if you change the lab or change those things, you like that lab will be paradise. You don't know those things. That lab could be worst. You switch the lab, you switch the PI, and that lab could be worst, and you gonna lose your 1 2 years. So that's the part one thing. And second thing, if your PI or if your lab leader or if your senior torture you or humiliate you, raise your voice against that. Never ever tolerate those things, because you know what I just said, love yourself. Mental health is very important. Okay, so don't fight with them, raise your voice, and like simply just say that I don't like it. If you want to say something in it, say something in a different way, in a professional way. So deal everything in a professional way, professional manner. Do your best. Give the initial impression is the most important impression. So initially show that you are like you are eligible and you are dedicated. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, yeah.
If you
In the
want to add
beginning,
anything,
yeah.
like you also know the same scenario, so if you want to add anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought about in the beginning you say time heals.
Hmm.
And time is really important, as you described now, also giving ourselves time and accepting where we are at and
Mhm.
observing it, because this will you really give us space to make or take some healthy decision about our life or about our next steps. Um, and also, you said raise your voice against if there is some unfair station. I want to also check one more thing. Do you think institutes have role when it comes to raising our voice towards supervisor or towards some unfair treatment from others around in the academia, or what kind of role they might have? I'm asking this for specifically for graduate students. Um,
Mhm.
what kind of support we can get? What
So
is your opinion?
you are talking about like what institute should have, or once what institute right now is doing, what you are asking. The what's
Um,
the ideal scenario or what's the common practice?
like institutes, how can they support the graduates still when it comes to a specific like we can actually think both scenarios, either
Mhm.
just regularly how they can support the graduate mental health, graduate students mental health, at the same time if there's a specific scenario, what kind of role should they take, how can they support students? Yeah.
So like many institution right now, like I gonna say I gonna come to this point. Like what I see, America versus Korea. So many institution nowadays do these things like give a proper training of the mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they do some institution do some lecture about what is the like what is your right. Okay, well, what is your right, what you need to do if you
Mm-hmm.
find something wrong, or like some PI is doing wrong to you. So nowadays so many institution is providing
Mm-hmm.
that, and I think that help should provide 100% institution, and in a like more intense way, not in a very light way. It's mainly intense way. And another thing, like what I found, what I see in the US, and that's the one of the most I think difference between US and South Korean PhD. Uh, there is pros and cons, both is there. So here, one PhD student before set in one lab, they call it rotation. So they can change 4 lab before
Mm-hmm.
set in one lab. So what's happened there, like you enter one lab, like what's happened with us, we enter one lab and we know we have nothing to do, we have to sit in that lab. Yeah, well, this is like our conditions. But here I saw the students, like they enter a lab. So initial, in their first rotation, they don't know anything about lab or anything about experiment. So in the
Mm-hmm.
first lab, they learn how to do experiment and what is their lab is doing, what is their lab senior is doing. And after 4 months, they enter into another lab. So
Mm-hmm.
they again 4 months they enter into another lab. So what is the positive side here? You learn like which lab is best for you.
Mm-hmm.
You already learn which lab is best for you, because every lab has their own practice, own methods, like own way to do their things. So you already learn which lab is best for you, you can join that lab. But what is the worst part? You lose your 2 years without doing any experiment. And as a scientist, you know that when you start one experiment, one project from the scratch, you need minimum 3 to 4 years to publish one paper from that project. If you start from the scratch, if it's a
Yeah.
like ongoing project, that's a different thing. So you already lose your 2 years, and maybe you want to finish your PhD other like another 2 years. So, but it's very hard to get one paper then. But if you start your PhD from the first lab without any rotation, then you have these 2 years to understand that lab, and by these 3 or 4 years, you can publish one, two paper and can graduate. So
Yeah.
that's the two different scenario here.
Yeah, it's always good to have opportunities, like trying. But as you said, like it's also about time. I think it's about priorities as well.
Yes,
Maybe
like first
that's
priority
why,
in life.
yeah, maybe that's why master course is very important step
Yeah.
before we step into PhD. Yeah, I think I asked all the questions that I was curious about. Um, I also want to check with you. What do you think the initiative like this interview or carrying this topic to like social platform? Like, do you think this can be helpful to increase the awareness on this topic?
I think so. I think so. Like when you approached to me about this topic, and I was thinking that I was thinking about that time, like when I start my PhD, and I never found this kind of video. I never found this kind of topic, this kind of conversation. Yes, obviously, like I try to communicate with some of the uh, some of my friend who already doing PhD, but that's like they are like ongoing students, so that conversation is not that much helpful in that time. So I think this conversation will be much helpful for those students who try, like it's for the all student all over the world, and who try to go for the graduate program in any part of the world, because as much as I see, every part of the world graduate program is almost similar.
Yeah,
There is not that much difference.
yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Srijan, for your insights, for your stories, and for your sharing. I know I will do this as a friend, but not just as a friend. I know your successful career, and I know your educational background. I think this can be also insightful for someone else. I believe that really strongly. And finally, if you like to say something to Srijan in his, the Srijan in the PhD time, what would you say? Like a word or like a sentence, but not more than that? What would you say to yourself?
That will be challenging. What I say? Okay, let me think. Okay, first, before I telling to Srijan something, first I want to tell Arva that thank you so much, Arva, for inviting me, and thank you so much for initiating this what should I say, conversation or those event program. I hope this is not like this is I'm very much happy this is the first, and I hope this is not last. This that will be continue, that will be continue with many other beautiful and inspiring stories. And now come to your question point. uh, I will say don't lose hope.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Don't lose hope. Yeah, hope is always
Yeah,
there for
hope is
us.
everything. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sarijan. Then why don't we end the session with a small reading practice? And I'm
Sure.
going to invite you and the friends who is watching this video just to
Okay.
find a position. And if you feel comfortable, you can also close your eyes
Okay.
and lower your gaze maybe. And coming back to this present moment again. with our breath.
Okay.
Maybe just taking a couple of breaths. And just being with breath. And letting the breath be you. And seeing how it goes deep. How it goes through your nostrils, to your chest, or maybe even on your abdomen. And staying there for some time. Our breath is always with us, but we don't get to realize it's there. Maybe sometimes in times of challenge, we can take small breaks just to come back to breath, maybe to the present moment through breath. And staying there for some time more. And you can release the practice and come back to Zoom screen. Thank you so much. Thank you, Srijan. Yeah.
Thank you, Arva.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.